Hey guys, welcome to the Big Blue United podcast. My name is TJ. I'm here with my buddies Dan and Colin. What's up, guys? We were just having a real spirited conversation about the news events this week, which probably won't carry over into the podcast this evening because we like to keep it, PG and 100% Giants related at all times.
Copacetic.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys noticed, but I got a new laptop. Check out my spiffy new webcam. I don't look like such a chode anymore. Like I look like a real guy. I wanted to be like Dan. I'm not quite as close as Dan with his new webcam, but we can work on it. I can work on the settings for next week. We'll see how it goes.
We have different levels of how close we are perceived to the camera. I like that.
Well, we were joking before we started that I could be back here.
Yeah, we got tight, mid, and wide shots.
Yes.
Doing it.
Edit this nicely.
I want to start off. I've got some nice music news to share with my friends here. Just found out that NextScars has been asked to be direct support for H2O next week.
Ooh. Yes. I was ready to make fun of you. That's amazing, man.
Yeah,
buddy. Support. I'm so happy for you. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Where?
Crossroads in Garfield, New Jersey, or Garwood, rather.
I mean, I have nothing to do.
It may or may not be sold out. It's worth checking.
I've looked up that. I think I've looked at the venue before. They have a lot of legit acts go through.
It's like a home place for like Gaslight Anthem. That's like all the New Jersey bands play there. Like that's the spot. So not only that, but anyone who's ever been in mediocre to low level punk rock bands for any reason is you hardly get paid for anything, and there's a bit of a guarantee. So that's great too. On top of it, not that it matters, but on top of it, there's a catch. There's always a catch.
It's a half hour.
It's not that far from you. Cool. The catch is, and it's kind of cool. It's a pain in the ass, but it's kind of cool. The way H2O works now is they fly in everywhere, and they don't bring anything with them. So we're backlining their entire set with our equipment. So that's kind of cool because I inevitably have to talk to the bass player and be like, here's what's good, and don't break it, I guess.
Do we know how many guys in H2O are still original members?
Every single one of them.
That's amazing, man.
Yeah, and they're all like 50. It's great.
They're legendary, dude. Did they just put out a new album or something?
I don't know, but Toby Morse is like, he's big time.
He's Instagram famous now, yeah.
Oh yeah, he's one of he's Michael Rappaport's best friend in LA, basically. Like they hang out all the time, which is just a bizarre combo.
Insufferable, maybe.
Yeah, a bit. a bit. Yeah, I mean, it would be a funny conversation to hear. But yeah, I mean, hey, we grew up on those guys. I was telling Steph earlier today that TJ, I remember sitting in your room, Fort Valley Drive, listening to was it Faster Than the World? I think when you first got it, we were sitting in your room just listening to it. And I was like, oh wow, look at that, cool. So
I saw a dude with an H2O t-shirt. He came into the bar. I talked to him like briefly. He was like waiting for the table real quick. And I like really meant to listen to that album again. And now that you bring it up, I'm 100% going to listen to it this week. Tomorrow after I listen to the pod on my way to work for sure.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things where I was never like the biggest fan of those guys, but they were part of our like whole Warped Tour growing up kind of thing. They were always around. They're in New York, at least a formerly New York-based band, and it's always good to get behind some local guys. And yeah, it's cool. It just came up out of nowhere. Some contacts that we had back from the Game Day Regulars days. Actually, one of the guys who's very good friends with Gaslight Anthem, he used to put on shows for us in New Brunswick at a place that's now defunct called the Court Tavern, which was where Gaslight Anthem basically started. He got in touch with Will and was just wondering if we had interest. So I was like, oh, okay. We had no plans on playing a show anytime soon because we're recording a couple of songs soon, but we're going to practice tomorrow and just run through the set.
I'm not sure it has anything to do with Gaslight Anthem, actually, Colin. Pretty sure it doesn't.
What?
Just everything you're talking about just doesn't have anything to do with Gaslight. Never mind. I'm trying to gaslight you.
Gaslight you.
I figured that's where you were going with it, but I wasn't.
Yeah.
I never put that together until recently because that term is like a term that entered my life like maybe 1 or 2 years ago. And then I realized that a lot of maybe girlfriends I had were doing it to me, but that's okay. It doesn't big deal. Moving on from that.
Yeah, but yeah, good. That's good. That's cool news.
That's awesome, man.
It'll be fun. I'll let you know what I hear about. I mean, I heard it was sold out. I don't know what that means. Dan, it would be great if you can come.
What day of the week is it?
It's a Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Yeah, it's the 6th.
I'm contractually obligated to be at Beer and Provision / Teddy's Bar and Grill, 96 Berry Street, Brooklyn, New York. Fortunately. Hey guys, as usual, follow Big Blue United on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You can follow us directly at BBU Podboys with the Z on Twitter. Our gracious podcast network, the Pigskin Podcast Network at Pigskin Podnet. Download that DraftKings app. Use promo code TPPN. And our sponsor this week is probably my favorite sponsor. I don't know. There's a lot of good sponsors on the show, but NEFT Vodka, ladies and gentlemen. Back for it again. I just took this out of my freezer. It's very cold. And you know, as is tradition when NEFT Vodka is the sponsor.
He's drinking it, folks. He's drinking lots of it right now. Yes, it tastes delicious. It's cold. Yeah.
That's it.
That's it.
Delicious.
Oh, baby. Yeah, it's nice.
That'd be a great tagline for NEFT Vodka. NEFT Vodka. That's it.
That's it.
So yes, as NEFT, of course, means oil in Russian. It comes in this cute little oil can with the little pop-off thing here, like a grenade. This was our go-to at our live pod for the draft at Wilson. Really made that experience a lot better for everybody. And again, you know, we have NEFT at Teddy's. I'm very familiar with the product. I definitely recommend it. Both drinking straight, on the rocks, shots, mixed martinis, whatever it is you guys want to do with vodka, NEFT Vodka can do it for you.
Do you have any specific NEFT cocktails that you like to put together at the bar?
I did a riff on an espresso martini on our winter menu. It was called This Is Not an Espresso Martini. It was made with NEFT Vodka. Basically, it did have coffee in it, but nothing else was espresso martini-esque. But still, you know, the trend people came in to try it, and they all enjoyed it. Don't get me wrong, but they were expecting, you know, that thick Bailey's Kahlua sugar bomb, and we weren't going to give that to you. We're going to give you something well balanced and tasty with a premium vodka in it. And that's
real
what we
cocktails.
Do they?
Exactly.
Does NEFT? I didn't look it up myself. Do they just do straight vodka, or do they do flavored as well?
As far as I know, it's just the straight vodka as of now.
I like that.
I mean, you know, the flavored stuff is usually something companies get into as time goes on.
Yeah,
you know, when you want to broaden your market share. But you know, I recommend it as usual, guys. Go get a bottle of NEFT at your liquor store, wherever you can, at the bar. Teddy's has it. If you want to try it, come see me when I'm bartending. If you mention the podcast, your bill goes up 150%. NEFTVodka.com. So NFL, I know we were doing a lot of Giants news. I mean, let's just talk NFL for a minute.
Sure.
Biggest thing, I guess, is that Kayvon will be ready for training camp, as we basically figured he would be.
Yeah.
So
that's no surprise. I mean, that plays into the whole Joe Shane, what I was mentioning of keeping anybody with any sort of little injury, put that red jersey on them and get them better, which is not how this team's done in the past. Actually, and league-wide seems to be the trend. So I'm with it. I think these guys are professionals to the point where you might as well keep them healthy as opposed to worrying about them getting their reps. I mean, you hear mental reps all the time. They exist for people who actually care about the playbook and learning how to play in this league. So I'm not too worried about it at all.
Yeah, I'm reminded of a great scene in a classic movie called Heart of the Sea, when the fledgling captain of the ship decides to bring the young greenhorns into an oncoming squall because they needed to be hardened. The ship got destroyed and a bunch of people died. You don't want that when you start the season in the NFL. It's a very, very similar analogy there, and I think people can think of that when they think of the New York Giants.
It sounds like how we've gone about things for the last 10 years or so.
Yeah, just steer around the squall. You don't need to go into it.
No.
So you don't need dudes that have injuries to be running laps around the field because they're injured as a punishment.
You play through it. You don't have to play through it.
Wait, you're saying that
play through it in training camp? Really?
You're saying that you shouldn't drive these guys so hard that they automatically want to retire and never play again?
Oh, I thought that's what you were supposed to do as a head coach.
Oh, yeah, maybe
Wait, should you run a QB sneak from your own 10-yard line?
on a third down.
Never. I'm gonna try to mention that every podcast until training camps.
You know what?
I
kind of
turn
wish
the players against you first.
I wish that play was called on 4th down. Really up the ante on it.
Bring it up to a whole new level of incompetence.
Yeah.
You know what?
Just punt on 1st down.
Yeah, I've been saying it. I'm like, why bother going through the other plays and the other downs? Just punt. As soon as
Send it back.
Yeah. Field position.
Yeah. Play field position against yourself. Love that.
Can you
Colin,
if you defer the coin toss, can you also defer receiving in the second half? Do you have to receive?
Like we don't want it twice.
Yeah.
No, like say
is that like a rule? Do you have to choose one or the other? Can you just be like, no, I never want the ball.
We're kicking. We're kicking again.
Yeah. Oh, we scored a touchdown?
Yeah.
Oh no, that doesn't work.
We're gonna kick and we're not gonna score.
Oh, you guys scored? We'll kick to you.
Over and over.
Bonus kick.
Wow, that kind of just sums up what it felt like to be a Giants fan throughout the entire Dave Gettleman tenure, essentially.
I'm starting to slowly
continually kicking the ball when never scoring.
I'm starting to like glaze over and like forget. I mean, I will never forget, like, hashtag never forget, but it's starting to get cloudier.
You're supposed to joke about that?
What? I'll never forget how bad the Giants have been in the last 10 years.
The son of a firefighter, ladies and gentlemen.
Oof.
Oh boy. So
can I just take this back to the beginning? I just want you guys to know the rhythm guitar player, lead guitar player of H2O. His name is Rusty Pistachio.
It sure is, and
that's an amazing name.
Yeah, and it's real.
That's incredible.
That's his actual real name.
His born name.
Rusty Pistachio.
Yeah.
Sounds like a porn name or something.
It's almost as good as Barkvarious Mingo.
Yeah.
Barktavius?
Barkvarious.
I think you made it. Wait, is it Barkvarious?
No, Barkvarious Mingo was like the 3rd overall pick of the Browns. Yes, Dan, I'm sure of it. It's not Barktavius, it's Barkvarious. Barkvarious Mingo. I've said it too many times to be wrong. There's no way.
You said it so many times it's wrong now.
Well,
Barkevius.
Barkevius?
Yeah. What did I just I said
Barkvarious.
Barkevius. Okay, I'm super sorry. I can't read.
Respect on that name.
What am I doing in my life? All right, let's just get into the abortion rights conversation. Colin, I know you wanted to talk about Dave Bellinger more because you have a hard on for tight ends.
Oh, Dan Bellinger? Yes, of course.
I'm done.
You go from screwing up one name to instantly screwing up another one, and he's on our team.
Listen, if you want to know what the notes I took this week, this are the notes I took this week. Okay, look, it's Dolph Lundgren, his girlfriend, is what I'm looking at right now. Okay,
it's inspiration. Nice new computer, man.
I had the iPad. I got a new.
That's your information station.
I got a new. Yeah. It's just what I look to.
I'm crying.
But yeah,
I'm crying right now.
So tell me about
Dave Brown.
Dirk Barius Bellinger, Colin.
Dirk Giggler.
So yeah, I thought it was really interesting. It's an invite only, apparently, situation to Tight End U, which is the second year in existence. It was started by George Kittle, Greg Olson, and I'm forgetting the other guy. I assume. Oh, Travis Kelce, of course.
Is that where we're seeing Josh Allen throwing Kittle passes on the internet the other day?
It's
probably
possible.
Right?
I don't know what quarterbacks were invited. I did see today that Dallas Clark was there, which was interesting to see him because boy did he get old. You know when you don't see football players for a while if they retire and then you see him again, you're like, oh man, I forgot aging happens in human beings because that guy looks
He looked old while he's playing too, though.
I know. And he was always smaller than everybody else. But anyway, I thought it was cool that Daniel Bellinger got the invite to go. And I think it only helps a rookie, especially. I mean, what better kind of they're calling it a tight end conference, basically. It's a week, I believe. And it's just like all about the art of, the modern tight end. And I saw a clip today of Kittle, just something simple, just talking about getting out of your breaks off the line, and like what's better about footing and like stuff that tight ends back in the day didn't really end up paying attention to because they were just depended on more as an extra blocker more than anything else. But now these guys are so fast, they're so big and strong that they're another receiver out there and they have to play like it. So since this guy is seemingly slotted in as our number one tight end, why not get him a little more tutelage? And apparently both him and George Kittle share the same agent, and that's how he got reached out to. George reached out to him directly and was just like, "Why don't you come down?" I
love that. Kittle was a late round pick too.
Sure was, exactly.
Absolutely.
I'm sure they have a lot of conversations that you can pick his brain and just kind of feel like how do you navigate your first year in the NFL and how do you get better. And
I would just love to get a hit on like a late round pick, like ever, which seems to just be such a far off thing for this team for so many years.
I know
that would just make me feel really good. Like, you look at other teams, like I remember when the Colts drafted Darius Leonard, I think in the 5th round. And then, his first or second year, he was, top 3 at his position already. And I was like, how do you get lucky like that? And then, we're drafting Clint Symptom in the 2nd round and whoever else, David, Rocky
Darius Leonard was
McIntosh.
2nd round.
Was he?
Was he second? Yeah. Who was it?
Darius Leonard was 2nd.
That makes sense.
Second, excuse me. Either way.
Yeah, but he was still super good value there.
Symptom,
that was a really good value pick still.
Yeah. Dan, I want to ask you a question specifically. How many yards from scrimmage are Saquon's abs going to get this year?
Oh, yeah, that's important. Did you see that picture of him training with Gettleman as GM or with Jason Garrett as head coach versus Dable as coach, and they just put the picture of him with the shirt popped off for Dable.
I didn't see that.
Yeah. His abs add at least 7 yards for the season, I think.
He did slim down, though. I think it's fairly obvious he is a smaller dude than he was.
He looks good, though. I mean, obviously. What looks to be peak physical condition from an outsider's perspective, at least.
I think that they literally told him that he could slim down to the point where he's not going to be running right up the middle every single play. So, get quick on the outside, I guess. I mean, the wide receiver stuff that you put him in the slot, whatever. I mean, that's only going to help. Hey, we will be the first people to hate on him if he sucks, and we'll be the first people to be really pumped if he ends up making this team win some games. Oh, Dan's going to hate it anyway. Great.
We're going to hate it, but
hey, if we win games and we don't win games and he's helping, I'm here for it. Why not?
I get that. What I don't want is for the Giants to overpay him at the end of the season. That's what I'm not looking forward to. If he has an amazing season, that's awesome, and I'm super happy for him. You have him under contract. Do you have him under contract 1 year, or is this his 5th year?
This is his 5th year.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, you're right, because DJ and Lawrence are in their 4th year, so their 5th year option next year.
Yeah,
and Lawrence, at least. Jones obviously wasn't picked up, but all right. So this is last year's contract year. I mean, some team is going to overpay for him, and it's not going to hopefully be the Giants. But we should probably hold off on this whole conversation until we do the running back preview, because we're going to hit wide receivers this week. I guess the only other NFL question I wanted to ask you that made me kind of shrug for a second was this whole Browns situation. So Deshaun Watson is going to be suspended for what looks like a year. And then now they have saying Jacoby Brissett is going to be the starter. What, Dan, I know you're a big Baker guy. What's the thought here of Baker? Because I thought they were going to stick with Baker and not trade him because they knew Watson was going to get suspended. So that being the case, is Baker going to get traded or cut, or is he going to be on the bench? Like, what do you envision for this perennially terrible football team?
I imagine Baker would get shopped around when things get shuffled up closer to the season. I still think he's fringe starting quarterback in the league. I think.
Would you
there's
rather have
definitely-
him? Wait, hang on. Go finish your thought.
I was gonna say, I think there's definitely an argument that Jacoby Brissett might be better. He's produced in his backup role every time for both the Colts and the Dolphins. He's not great, but he's not. He's somewhere in the bottom middle.
Yeah.
I would say
he's like
NFL.
a top 40 quarterback in the NFL. You could say.
Well, I would
Like
say
a
he's top
higher-end
32.
Okay.
At least.
Yeah.
But I think the relationship with Baker and the Browns is just beyond repair, and I can't see a situation where they'd put him on the field. I feel like it's a thing where they'd get Jake Fromm to start over Baker just because. I don't know.
And there's no market to get rid of him right now. What's the deal? Like, why aren't they moving him if there's a strained relationship to the point of no return?
To where is the real question. There's basically two teams.
There's going to be an injury at some point. A quarterback, they're going to need a backup.
Yeah.
And some team will pay or give something up, draft equity or something for him.
True.
Right now, I think people think they're set and they're ready to roll, but I think he's too good, and the Browns are too aware of cap and draftonomics to not move him.
And realistic question, and I know this has been thrown around a little bit since this all happened, and some people said Seattle, and just because of the whole. But like, what's a real team that would make sense for him to go to?
Carolina is the only team, because I think Seattle is trying to tank this year to get Russell's replacement. I think Carolina, and I think they tried to do a trade and it didn't work out because I believe Carolina was trying to get the Browns to eat some of the guaranteed money and they wouldn't do it. And that's why the trade didn't happen. But I don't know, Dan, can you think of any other team that really this makes sense to?
I don't know. I could see like a smart team maybe doing it. Like who is Matt Ryan's backup for the Colts?
I don't know.
No idea. I'll take a look.
I don't know. I mean, just like, I guess that's like swapping Jacoby Brissett almost for Baker.
I could even see him going. I mean, bear with me here.
Chicago?
No, I guess not.
You're going to say Chicago?
Nick Foles is the backup there, so they're probably good on that.
I was.
What about Atlanta? I mean, Atlanta, it could be another one, but they'll probably stick Mariota and then go on to Desmond at some point. You'd imagine this year.
Well, that's why I was going to say the Titans, but then they have what's his name there, so they
just got Chid Liberty, Malik Willis.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. Carolina does make sense because I think what's his name, the coach. I feel like he'd be a guy that would just like be enamored with Baker regardless, and just
Matt
like try to like.
Baker should go to the Raiders and back up David Carr.
I can see that. They have similar skill set.
I think that energy would be good.
The question I wanted to ask you before is, because the Niners are presumably shopping Jimmy G as well. Would you rather have Jimmy G or Baker Mayfield?
Jimmy G. I mean Baker Mayfield.
I'm in agreement with
Jimmy
you.
Jimmy G is trash. I'm done.
I think Baker Mayfield still might have like something he hasn't showed us yet, and I think we've seen everything
for
Jimmy
just
G
sheer
can do.
revenge factor for Baker.
Yeah.
Who would you rather have date your daughter, Baker Mayfield or Jimmy G?
Jimmy
Baker. Jimmy G.
Yeah.
Nah. Oh, I mean, Jimmy
I'm
G's
sorry.
more handsome, but Baker seems
nice
like
Italian boys. What can I say?
I've seen Jimmy G
nice
on
guy.
a date with a porn star. So Baker's a nice chubby little lad.
Southern boy.
Yeah.
Chubby little lad.
Chubby little lad.
He's gonna have mad respect for you as the father too. Jimmy G's gonna like hit on your wife.
Okay.
It's true. You can ask him.
Jimmy G's gonna cuck me, is what you're saying?
Yeah. And plus, he's trash from the Patriots. Yeah, essentially, yeah. He'll probably kiss your son on the mouth because he hung out with Tom Brady for a while.
Oh, good point. Good point.
No, okay, that's out of the question. But I was going to say my wife is a wonderful lady and maybe deserves somebody more attractive and nicer than I am. Not nicer, just here.
Do you think Tom? No, I can't say this. Never mind.
No, go. Just do it. It's the off season.
Oh,
what are they going to do? What are they going to do?
Do you think? Oh no, I can't. I will not.
Come on, give us a euphemism. There's a way to phrase this where it's not so bad. I'm sure.
Euphemism for this. No, there isn't, and I won't.
Sounds like this is something we should stay away from at this point.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. Well, I think if I goaded you 3 times and you said no, it's probably time to move on.
I was trying to figure out a way to make it funny, but it's like I don't think it's funny anymore because we're talking about it too much.
It's cringe, as they say, right?
Yeah, I'd say.
Whatever those kids say these days.
Yeah.
By the way, can I ask you a question? You ever see these memes where it's like some dude with like the curly haircut and it's like bussin' for real? What is that? What does that mean?
What?
What does that mean?
What do you mean?
Bussin', I mean, it's supposedly like the Gen Z meme where like you talk. I was like, I employ some Gen Z people and nobody talks like that. They're just like
they have the curly top hair with the undercut shaved and like glasses, and it's like bussin' FR for real. It's just like text talk, and I don't know this anymore. So
this is like one of the first times I've really felt my age in a long time.
Like people that say like cap, no cap, mid.
Yes. Yeah, well,
that's exactly
that's another
that.
one. That's another one. What is that?
That's just like I don't know.
I had to
all the
look
stuff
at
we used to say.
Look up what cap and no cap meant. It's like cool or not cool, I guess.
Yeah.
I also don't like bet.
Yeah, bet's annoying. That's my new pet peeve.
I hate it.
What in what context?
It's like hey, you want to go to the bar? And you're like,
bet.
yeah, you're like, bet. And you just keep rolling on with the conversation. Okay, bet. It's like, okay, we're gonna agreed.
Yeah. Sucks.
What do you think was the dumbest thing we said when we were younger? What was the,
I mean,
other than clearly like other than all the like homophobic stuff that was like accepted back then, but not that we ever said any of that because don't check my Twitter.
What's good? No, that's not cool.
What up, Doe?
What up, Doe? That was just like a joke that one kid had, you know.
What's
the
good?
Ill Blazons
Who's
was
got
pretty
the
bad.
Getty Goods, Doe?
The Ill Blazons.
I don't know, man. We were really cool, dude. We were really cool.
Yeah, that's true.
Dope. We said stuff was dope.
I still do.
Do you ever say
fly?
word?
No one ever said that.
Word?
I still say word.
I mean, that's my word, is what you say, and I like
truth. True.
Sure.
I say.
That's
I
my
feel
word.
you a lot.
All right.
I say no doubt a lot. Maybe that's lame. I say no doubt all the time still.
All right, what we need to do is like make new slang for like middle-aged fathers, or not middle-aged, but like 35-year-old fathers. We need a whole.
That's
new slang
cool, like
for
that other people think is cool, or just that we think is cool.
No, that like is ubiquitous amongst men and women in our age group.
But the youths won't want to say it.
No, they don't want anything to do with it. But it's a new slang. It's new. It's new to us. It's new to the world.
Or what if we reverse psychology them and we make the youngers think it's cool, but it's not cool.
So incept them to say even dumber things?
Yeah.
This is way above.
I think that'll be cool. I think that'll be cool.
I think that's cool.
And they're just going to be saying dumber things, and we're going to make them dumber.
Yeah.
I did read that the younger generation is not having sex as much, they're not drinking as much, they're not smoking as much. So thank God this Supreme Court abortion ruling comes at the right time for the right generation. Okay, guys, do you want to get into the wide receiver group here?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
That brings me to Kadarius Toney.
A man with a very cold head who knows how to wrap it up.
And that's the pod. We'll see you guys next week. Big Blue United.
I don't even know what to do anymore with this pod. Just talking nonsense. All right. I feel like I have to be unsheathed a little bit because you have to have more fun now. I need to be able to say things.
Do you have to say unsheathed?
Didn't have to use that word, but over here.
What is happening? Oh my God.
All right. I don't know, Colin. We're just having a good time. That's all I ever wanted to do.
I'm with
Sorry. Kenny Galladay. I mean, is that like
for a podcast?
What is it?
We should do if you had to make an NFL team composed of players from a certain state, what states would they be? Not based on how good the football is, but based on attitude of people from those states.
Well, I mean,
could get interesting. File it away.
I like that. Let's throw that. Let's throw that in the in the work folder. We'll get right to work on that.
Yeah.
I don't know if our listeners know, but every Monday morning We're all hard at work on this podcast.
Work day and night.
Day and night, baby.
All right, wide receivers.
Yeah, let's go. So in my opinion here, there's obviously like 4 dudes that are going to make this team. So let's hit those 4 guys and then kind of talk about the other spots. Do you guys want to start with, presumably number 1 wide receiver, Kenny Golladay?
Kenny G.
That NEFT Vodka is hitting fast, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a good wide receiver when he was on Detroit, and that's about everything we know.
Yeah, I mean,
he's tall.
What in my notes I wrote down, like, how are you going to evaluate him last year? Because either he was hurt, not utilized, or gave up.
How many targets did he average per game? Do we know?
His best catch was 33-yard mini post from Jake Fromm. Was his best catch all year.
And he's also targeted like 3 times a game, which is insane.
Well, I mean, I kind of see why that happened, just because they weren't letting Jones do his thing because they were trying to keep it conservative. So why didn't Dave Gettleman speak? Yeah, why didn't Gettleman speak to the coaching staff and see what their plan was before he went out and spent the largest wide receiver contract of that?
Because it was Dave Gettleman's job is to get the best football players in the house, regardless of scheme fit or if they made any sense for the coach's vision.
It was just,
and to overspend.
It's crazy. If you were never going to use him as the only thing he can do is catch contested balls, he's a big dude. He's fast dude on the outside. They never used him. It's crazy. The coach, like Joe Judge and Dave Gettleman, how many times have they had a conversation together?
Do you think Dave Gettleman watched film of Kenny Golladay, or he's just like, who's everyone saying is like the best wide receiver available?
You're probably right. You're probably right. Yeah.
Well,
he was just the most expensive guy out there. So let's sign him. Yeah.
How many pages into that insanely large binder that he had do you think he had Kenny Golladay?
I'm not sure that he can read. He's like one of those guys that are at Trump rallies that's like, read the transcript, and they're like, have you read the transcript? And they're like, oh, I don't need to. Other people have.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's a good point. That's
he doesn't need to gather his own information. He gathers it from a second source and just
everyone's
agrees
already
with
done
it
it
immediately.
Yeah. Do your own research, but I don't need to. Everything is fine. Everything is fine. Nothing else. The only thing to care about is Giants and the end of June right now. That's the only thing we're worried about here.
I'm just gearing up for training camp. But
yeah, you guys are going to come over to my place and basically live here for the month of August, and we're going to go to every training camp after.
I think I'm gonna take off the rest of the days that I have this year just so we can go to the training camps.
Yeah,
I'll take a whole week off. I don't give a proverbial shit about that.
No, but we do have to figure out.
Torm can get us in, I think.
Torm could. Torm's still employed by the organization?
No, but he can get us in.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah, he's the guy. He's the guy. If I want to say one more thing about Golladay, you just have to imagine that he'll have a better year than 500 yards and no touchdowns. You have to imagine. I don't necessarily think he might have, his 2019 year with, 1,200 yards, 11 touchdowns. Maybe that was his peak. He won't reach that again. But you have to imagine that Daboll and Kafka have a better plan for him than Garrett Judge did at the time. So while I don't expect him to maybe blow up and be 1,000-yard receiver, I could see it close to that, and I could at least see him catching, half a dozen touchdowns if they're going to utilize him correctly, because that's really where he's going to earn his money, is catching the ball in the end zone.
You got to believe he'll be in a position to do better than he did last year.
Yeah. Well, I think that the sole fact that all of us, we've been lulled to sleep by Gettleman and Garrett and his lack of usage with Golladay, to the point where it's almost like we keep forgetting the guy exists. And I hope the rest of the league kind of does too, because from what I read on this this Giants.com article about the pre-snap motion, it's insane. Sterling Shepard's talking about it's just so wildly different than it's been in the past that I feel like inevitably, because of this, guys are going to be getting open that you would never expect to get open, just because I think it's going to be one of those spreading it around kind of offenses. So I don't know if it's going to be one guy in particular, but because of that, I think you'll get someone like Golladay who's open maybe on the third look, even though he should be the number one guy, So I don't know. I want to start seeing this. I mean, I know we have to wait for training camp and all that, and even then we probably won't see a lot of it, but I'm dying to see some of this innovative stuff.
Yo, I'm with you, man. Unlike the Supreme Court of the United States, I'm ready to see this spread. Real bad. But if you want to talk about Shepard, I was like, had that in my mind for 5 seconds. I had to get it out. Anyway,
do it.
So Sterling Shepard is another person obviously going to start here. Took the pay cut, longest tenure Giant. I think one of the only guys on the team that you might say is like, a true Giant.
Yeah.
There's not many of those on the team right now, or, in the past few years, I would say either. But he's restructured. He's back. I'm happy he's back. That being said, his injuries are rough the past few years. He's really only played in 2 full seasons his whole career, last being in 2018. If you look at his numbers throughout his career, I mean, he had a 900-yard season one time. He had 8 TDs his rookie year, but not more than 4 after that. So, I mean, his numbers are not great, but I think he was never expected to be like a 1,000-yard receiver, more of just a slot guy. Yeah. But, he's going to probably be on the Y. Do you really see him? What do you see his skill set as now? To me, it's a possession receiver who's going to bail you out in third down. Yeah. Do you guys think he has the ability to bounce back and maybe have like a really good season like his rookie year, or, be able to haul in enough catches to reach, maybe approaching 1,000 yards?
He easily could just be that Steve Smith 2.0 guy. You know what I mean? Like, he's never going to burn you. He's never going to be getting those deep balls for any reason. But yes, on that third down that you need, he's
Supreme Court would love that.
Yep.
All right, that's my last one.
Okay. But yeah, I think it's going to be one of those kind of things. He might disappear in games and then all of a sudden get that big third down catch, which is fine. I mean, he's obviously a team guy. He took the friendly deal.
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of it will have to depend on, what happens with Wan'Dale Robinson and if he emerges and starts taking a lot of the slot stuff as envisioned. Otherwise, if you look at Dable's offense in Buffalo, Cole Beasley was scoring like 10 touchdowns a season and racking up 90-plus yards a game.
What do you think he thought about the news of this week?
You saw it on my face.
That's why I had to say it.
Well, his body, his choice, right?
Yeah.
Oh. He used to love to say that one.
Yeah. Well.
So obviously he agrees with the opposite.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Shep, I'm happy he's back, as I said before, but I hope he can stay healthy. And I really only see him kind of, well, the one thing I will mention is that when he was on the field last year, I did feel like him and Daniel Jones do have a connection with each other. So I do think it was important that he came back, just because he seemed like to be Jones's security blanket, beyond the check down, at least behind the line of scrimmage. Like, he was giving Shepard balls beyond the line of scrimmage as sort of a security blanket, as I said before, to maybe convert those third downs or get those tough yards when they needed them. So their rapport together makes me happy he's back. But I don't see him, making a giant impact, but having moments where you're happy he's there.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Let's go talk about the man, young Joker, Kadarius Toney, head so cold.
Head so cold, I like.
Head so cold, yeah.
Cold.
Yeah.
I don't know. With him, it's just, to me, it's like one of two things will happen. He's either going to have a phenomenal year and just make these amazing plays that you're going to, be reminiscent of an Odell Beckham on this team when he was younger, or he's going to wash out and be done at the end of the year.
Yep. Yeah.
I mean, what's your prediction?
Well, I mean, let's start with the injury issues. He's never not injured, so that doesn't help his cause. I mean, he I don't know what the statistics were. I think he went every 15 snaps and he was injured. So I don't know. I can't even speculate unless he shows that he can be a little bit durable. Maybe they'll help by putting him in positions where he won't be dependent on as, the guy, and maybe that'll help him a little bit. But I don't know. I'd love to see him rip it up. I mean, you saw what he could do. Some of those jukes are just insane. Getting people out of their boots. It was crazy and awesome to see, and especially with someone like Wan'Dale to kind of take, some attention away. Maybe that can give him the opportunity to not be double covered. So
yeah, I'm definitely, the number one thing I'm most excited for this season is seeing Kadarius Toney. Not because he just reminds me so much of myself as an athlete, but just because of the glimpses of what we had last year. Obviously, yeah. I'm a little suspect, and not to like reflect on his character at all, but I got a feeling he might have leaned into some of the injuries last year a little bit. Not really too excited to get on the field with the current state of affairs, which isn't great. But he seems like someone that might be fairly impressionable as a total wild card of a character. And if things are going well and the offense is looking like fun, I think he would get in the mix and just sort of exponentially grow. So that's my hope. Most fun part of the offense or the entire team, in my opinion. So just trying to think positively because that's going to be really fun once he's out in the field.
Yeah, I want to see more of the 190 yards he had versus the Cowboys and not more of the punches he was throwing to get kicked out of that game.
I forgot about that.
That was sort of awesome, though. That was sort of awesome.
I mean, yeah, it's against the Cowboys, but
in a season that lacked any sort of passion or like anything is like at least someone is like alive on this team.
But in the same token, what if you're in a position where you can win a game and then you make a bonehead move like that? I understand he's young and people do question whether he cares about football or whatnot. I mean, I would be remiss if I didn't necessarily agree with some of the worries people have about his character. I don't want to jump on anybody. It's his second year. He's a young guy. Maybe, he has better coaching around him. Maybe they put better people around him. I hope he matures. And I'm with you, Dan. I think it's the most exciting thing to watch next year other than, what Daniel Jones does, which, maybe won't be that exciting.
I'm still sort of surprised. And I know this is totally just irrelevant, but like I was certain that the guy was going to change his number from 89. Certain of it, and it never ended up happening. Like he made references to it. Yeah, I mean, I guess so. But early on in training camp, when he was given the number, like someone said in an Instagram post, like he posted a picture, the team did, and like someone was just like, "There's no way that this guy is keeping 89. Watch him change his number." And he like commented back. He replied, "He was like, you're smart," which would allude to him wanting to change it, like he hated the number. It's like this big.
It was opposite day for him. It was opposite day.
I mean,
he's doing a thing.
He took the head thing off, and he was like,
he wasn't wearing his head condom.
Yeah, he was out of sorts.
I like him at 89. I like the old school wide out numbers. I think it's classic,
especially because he's a smaller dude.
Yes, agreed.
With such a high number. I always love that aspect of things. Same thing with Wan'Dale at 17. Speaking of which, is that?
Yeah, let's jump into Wan'Dale. 17. Yeah, I mean, is that an homage to Plaxico, or was that his number in college?
No, he was number one at Nebraska, and was he number one at Kentucky as well?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
that'd be tight if that was what he was wearing on the Giants.
I mean, you picked. You picked the number of the best wide receiver in recent memory on the team. Well, I won't say recent memory, but maybe a little beyond that. But I mean, what can we say about Wan'Dale that we haven't said already, really?
I think as much as you saw Kadarius used in a lot of different ways, I feel like you're going to see it even more with him. And I think that will let someone like Toney just play his game and then use this guy as the Swiss Army knife.
I mean, I agree. I think that Wan'Dale they're similar players. I think they might. It's a good point that you made, Colin. Wan'Dale's probably a little more of a savvy kind of football player, maybe a little more of a football IQ kind of guy.
Yeah.
While Toney might be a little more physically gifted. Giving Wan'Dale kind of those roles to move around and just let Toney kind of excel what he excels at. I think that's a good plan. Whether or not they're going to do anything like that, I don't know, but it's an interesting dynamic to have Robinson and Toney on this team together, because they're going to, if they're utilized correctly and they both progress, as their draft pedigree would indicate, it's really going to cause headaches for defensive coordinators in the NFL.
Yeah, absolutely. They should let Kadarius Toney be like the Troy Polamalu of wide receivers and just not have any responsibilities in any given play and just do whatever out there and get open.
And all right, here's an idea. Daniel Jones has a microphone in his helmet that he can talk directly to Kadarius. And
I don't think that would help.
I mean, They would have to change the rules for him, basically.
Just like a laser pointer, and just like
Yeah, go there.
Yeah.
Run right there.
Actually, the next guy I want to talk about, I think, is probably the most interesting person to talk about, which is Darius Slayton. Basically a guy who, 5th round pick, came out his rookie year. What do you have? 750 yards, 8 touchdowns. People had a lot of, confidence in this guy moving forward into his career, and he hasn't really panned out, the way we expected, especially with the drops. He was sort of expected to be, the number 2 receiver after Sterling went down next year. He didn't really have a good outing. Now you're basically at a place where you might be the 5th wide receiver on this roster. Do you guys see him making the team with, a $2.5 million salary cap hit with his skill set, with, some other younger guys, chomping at the bit behind him?
Yes, and only because we've been so riddled with injuries at the wide receiver position the last couple of years that I would say that he would just stick around. Maybe they try to work out some sort of deal where they buy him down, given what he's been not able to produce, given his contract. I don't know if he's happy or if he's unhappy. They may have told him, like, hey, listen, your future is wide open here. If you step up this year and you have a great training camp, you can be in the running for the top 3 wide receivers there. I'm sure that's what they're telling him. Whether he goes ahead and does it, who knows? I don't think they get rid of him this year just for the sole fact that depth is so important.
Yeah, for Slayton, I don't know. I would hope that he is sort of the number 1 backup to both Galladay or Tony. I could see them getting rid of him as well for the minor cap improvement. And he seems like a guy that would go directly to the Patriots or something like that and just be another body. I don't know that he has anything that this regime values, which brings me to the other guy in the depth chart.
He's fast.
Richie James, but they're just acquiring the fastest, most electric sort of players as they can. Slayton's, we sort of know what he is at this point, right? Love the guy. I feel like he loves being on the Giants. Very positive. As I was sending the tweets out when people are either brought on or drafted and saying get ready to rock. But I think unfortunately probably be a cap casualty.
Yeah. It's weird because it can easily go either way.
Yeah.
I mean, it depends on how they feel about the cap, and I think that's the only way he doesn't make the team. I mean, in my mind, if they needed that money, they would have gotten it already, and they would have cut him. I think he's made it far enough that he's going to get to compete in training camp, and I do think he will make the team because the guys, the other players on the roster, while there are some intriguing prospects there, I don't think any of them are necessarily a better pure wide receiver as he is.
Not to mention the experience. That's valuable.
True. I mean, obviously the 16%, rate of dropped catches on catchable passes last season is a big deal for him. If he can clean it up and learn how to hold the ball in a little better, especially on those deep routes where I think there were so many times, in his career where he was open deep and he dropped the ball and it really, hurt me inside. And there were times when, I was cursing Darius Slayton's name, but I think as a 5th option, you're in a good spot.
Yeah,
with your wide receiver core, if he's your 5th option.
It's a very good
in
point.
my mind. Yeah.
And the way that this NFL is today is you need every single one of those guys, which kind of leads to a little bit more of the depth and what you're seeing from at least some of the brief performances from the low-level guys like the David Sills and what is this, Travis Toivonen or Toivonen.
Yeah. I like Toivonen just because he 6'4", 212. Yeah. He's a big man. Also, never played an NFL game, so that's another thing. But
you want to touch on someone too with a little a pedigree. I don't know if we've talked about him before. Austin Proehl,
father Ricky Proehl.
Ricky Proehl, yeah, for the Bills.
17 NFL seasons, I believe.
And we
long career for the wide receiver in the NFL, especially back then.
And I hope we never speak of CJ Board again. So I don't really care.
You want to know another good stat about Austin Proehl was that he caught the first TD pass in the new XFL.
Huh.
The Seattle Kraken, Seahawks. I don't know, whatever it was.
Yeah, the hockey.
No, the
team.
Kraken is the hockey team. Yeah, yeah, whatever it is. But yeah, I could see Prohl making the squad, just being on the Bills. But the
Special
problem with
teams.
him is special teams. Yeah, I mean, he's a slot receiver. There's a lot of slot receivers on this team.
Yes. But I
David
think
Sills, I like better. He was always like flashing like moments in preseason that were cool and like gave me like Victor Cruz vibes like occasionally,
Yeah, I think a lot of if we keep more wide receivers on the roster than you'd expect, it's because those bottom feeders of sorts, the special teams, heavy. That's where they're going to be playing, and that's like the Austin Prohls and the Alex Bachmans, if he even makes it. He's also someone who's flashed in camp too, which is these are all good problems to have. Anybody who is able to do something that is an undrafted free agent or whatever, great. Throw them in there for camp. If they're camp bodies, wonderful. If someone sticks, a la Victor Cruz, wonderful.
Before I give my prediction about who stays, I want to ask you what your opinion on Colin with 2 L's Johnson is.
Oh, he's one of those
2 L's or one? Which is the definitive spelling of Colin?
Oh, the 1 L, of course.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The Colin with 2 L's is the Americanized version of it, which is incorrect. But
so wait, are you 6'6", 220 though?
No, but that guy is a large man that's done nothing. He's been like on our practice squad for like the last couple of seasons, hasn't he?
The Bachman, I think, is the one you're thinking of.
Yeah.
Johnson was drafted by the Jags in the 5th round last year.
Oh, okay.
Almost 400 yards, 2 touchdowns. Had some flashes. Yeah, I mean, his dad played it 20 years in the NFL. I think he has a shot to either land on the practice squad or land on the practice squad, be my guess.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you really look at it, you're going to think Richie James makes his team as a kick returner, right? As
Absolutely.
a wide receiver.
I mean, that was
position.
the main reason we picked him up.
100%.
He also has Wildcat experience.
So
but Tony's going to be your Wildcat guy, man. Come on.
More Wildcat, the better Wildcat.
Double
Wildcat.
Triple.
Yeah. Just
Wildale.
anyone can throw. No one knows.
I think Wing T Wildcat.
Wing T Wildcat. Let's start a band right now.
That'd be a sick band.
Yeah, it really would.
But yeah, I mean, I could see either Johnson, Sills, or perhaps Foster making this roster. Everyone else, I think, is gone or practice squad behind the top 4, Slayton and James.
Yeah.
CJ Board, I'm with you. I think he's done. Bachman, I think, has been on the practice squad too long. He's 26 years old. You want to inject youth into your practice squad. You don't want to keep signing the same dude over and over and over again to your practice squad. You've seen what he can do. Get somebody you don't know what they can do fully yet. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's very early to even have an idea there. I think it'll be very interesting to see what training camp provides for us.
I mean, yeah, wideout always seems to be a very loaded position on a team before the season starts. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see this group even get mixed up a little more than it is now. They have a bunch of guys on the roster, but I could totally see, a couple dudes getting cut before training camp and some other guys getting signed, or people getting cut early in training camp and bringing in some new, faces into the group. But obviously, I think we have, at least 5 to 6 guys that we think will definitely make the roster.
Yeah.
As far as we know. Anything else tonight, guys?
Yeah, I think that covers it.
All right.
Well,
thanks everybody for listening. Don't forget to follow Big Blue United on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, BBU Pod Boys with a Z on Twitter. Follow at the Pigskin Pot Network, at the Pigskin Pot Net. Download the DraftKings app. Use promo code TPPN. Don't forget to get that bottle of NEFT Vodka. And also don't forget to support women's rights. Thanks for listening tonight.
Peace.
Later.